What if your connection to the spirit world was closer than you think? What if your unique way of seeing the world is the key to connecting the two worlds? Welcome to a Sanctuary for the Soul podcast. Join us as we delve into the heart of spiritual development, from the practical guidance and mediumship to the best way to live a heart-based life.
We are here to facilitate healing, awaken your intuition, and help you navigate your path with confidence. Speaking from our own deep journeys, we've learned to experience the world and the spirit world with a unique sensitivity. This is our space to share that perspective with you. Let's explore the connection together. So, why do we work together?
Destiny, the universe calling, something ethereal at work.
Written in the stars.
I think it could have been written in the stars.
Mm.
Although when I've looked up at the stars, I've never seen that. You look at the stars and you see all these like that is meant to be like an archer or like a belt or something like that. I've never seen that. How did those people back in the day ever come to a conclusion that that is what they were looking at?
Mm.
How did that happen?
Magical.
It is magic.
Mm.
So today is about why a psychologist, you, and a spiritual medium, moi,
Yes.
why working together has been the best thing and why it is going to be the best thing for whoever's watching or listening to this.
Mm.
Because we've learned a thing or two.
Yeah, absolutely.
But how did this madness, this weirdness, this wonderfulness, how did it start, Liz?
Well, it was a very organic beginning.
Yep, no pesticides used.
No, nothing at all. And really, I started out as a health psychologist.
Yeah.
And there was a limit in terms of how much I could heal myself and what I could do to support others through a healing process.
Okay.
Because you start to really understand the impact of the mind on the body, but you find yourself sat with the understanding, and you can end up revisiting the same thoughts and understanding. But there's a real desire to move beyond that, to experience a liberation from what you now understand to be perhaps the heart of the issue.
Okay. So just elaborate on that. So what wasn't being fulfilled by the original way that you approached it? And how did having a spiritual understanding kind of help you resolve the issue, if it is resolved?
Yeah. So the best way to describe it and understand it is my personal experience, I think.
Okay.
And that has then paved the way to how I work with other people.
Okay. So in what way?
So I developed an understanding of the impact of the thought processes or what I had held onto from the past in terms of how that influenced the long-term condition that I had at the time.
Were the two things linked, do you think?
Yes, I really decided they were. I went through a deep exploration and I've read lots about it. And as a health psychologist, we explore a huge amount of theory and research around this link. And so I didn't need convincing that for me personally, and everybody's experience will be different, depending on their past and what's happened. But for me, there was a huge amount of mindset, past history, beliefs, relational things, that I was convinced, and definitely am still, had contributed to my poor physical health at the time.
Okay.
And
Can I
yeah,
just stop you there? I think what you've said is kind of a bit of a newsflash moment in it, because you're saying that the health issues that you were dealing with at the time, they were directly linked to um, stuff that had happened on an emotional level that
yes,
had kind of manifested and had shown themselves
yes,
as like physical issues within your actual body.
yes.
So, can this happen to other people, or were you unique in that circumstance?
No, it's absolutely, I think it's a common thread in
Really?
physical illness. It's not always the main thing, and I don't think we can ever take that one size fits all approach. Has
Sure.
to be individual.
So, but that might give people watching or listening a real kind of wake up moment,
Mm.
because sometimes you might go to the doctor and you say, well, doctor, I have da 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 da. This is what I'm suffering with. And they give you some tablets or some pain relief. And they say, come back in a couple of weeks. If it doesn't get better, da da
Mm.
da da da. You know how it
Yes.
goes. Familiar conversation. Now, it seems like someone doing that for you would not have been doing you any good at all.
No.
Wow. That kind of does make you think, hang on a minute, you're not unique. So, how
Mm.
many other people watching or listening might be taking medication for something that didn't have a physical cause? Now, obviously, we need to have that caveat that doctors are professionals by their very standing. All right.
Mm.
So, just like you're a doctor of psychology, you know what you're talking about. So do they. But we can't necessarily assume that everything that is showing up as pain or discomfort or distress in our body has a physical cause. And we need to maybe consider that before we just jump straight into the popping a few pills and just hoping it gets better.
Um, I think there's merit in seeing it actually as physical, emotional, psychological, and spiritual, and
Right.
seeing that there's many threads, and the degree to which each one influences is where the exploration is.
Really. So that's very intriguing. Wow. Where do we go from here?
Well, that's what led me to your side of the world in a way,
My side of the world?
because I got so much understanding psychologically and emotionally of what what was perhaps held in the
Okay.
body, and I was revisiting it over and over again with therapists.
But a quick question though, when you say
Yeah,
what was held in the body, how do you mean?
yeah, good point. So the the emotions, the feelings of what I'd
Right.
experienced was held, I believe, physically in my body. It hadn't had a path to move, be
Right.
expressed, and transformed.
And so is the end result of that like having like a condition or some sort of physical ailment that that wouldn't have been there if you hadn't have had those, let's say, those emotional experiences.
Mm.
So is it like a case that those experiences brought on the physical condition?
I personally believe for me,
Yeah.
yes,
Oh wow.
yes.
So, you know, we know there's going to be people kind of probably nodding their head to this and saying, "Yeah, I get that."
Mm,
And so, how did the when you say you came over to my side, you know, we're talking
mm.
dealing with things maybe on a more spiritual level. How would you describe my side?
Yeah, so it started by becoming interested in something called cranial sacral therapy, which is
Okay,
um, an energetic therapy, but very quickly through attending training, I realized that wasn't my natural way of working.
okay,
Um, And as I explored my connection to energy or altered states of
Yeah.
awareness,
Yeah.
and also the somatic side of things, so working with the feeling in the body as well to be able to express it or experience it or transform it, often through um, so yin yoga was very powerful.
Okay.
That's holding a deep stretch to allow the emotional experience to be almost released. But it was the combination of not only those more somatic ways of working, but also the understanding of energy. And eventually, after years of exploring that, the connection to those that guide us and working in altered states.
So, just to backtrack a little bit, what does somatic mean?
The felt, the held experience.
Right. Okay. So, if I was feeling, let's say I was feeling anxiety, so would I say my somatic experience was the anxiety that I felt within me?
Yeah, you could absolutely say that. And
Okay.
I think that was what led me to be more interested in the energetic and the spiritual, was the desire to start to transform what I'd held on to psychologically.
Okay. So, how did
Yeah,
you know that the let's say the spiritual stuff? How did you know that was starting to have a positive effect?
I was starting to experience a change in my mindset, first of all,
Wow.
in a dramatic way.
Okay.
Mm.
Anything you want to elaborate?
So I was able to experience and feel a connection to my dad, who died when I was 9.
Okay.
And so that began to alleviate a lot of, well, it opened up initially, but it began to alleviate a lot of the grief that I'd held. Yeah,
Do you think that grief could have caused any sort of like physical discomfort?
definitely. Yeah. I
Wow.
think also as a culture, we're not terribly good at working through grief.
Yeah. Bottle it up, push it down, keep it out of the way.
Mm,
Yeah, that is the mindset. That's absolutely fascinating to kind of understand that you're approaching this as an academic, obviously
mm,
highly academic, highly trained. You know what you're talking about from a very um, broad perspective, as a psychologist. But the fact that you were happy and willing to explore something that might have been seen as a little bit, quote, woo woo.
mm,
All right, because it is, we're not seen as the most academic people. We're seen as a little bit like headscarves on, crystal balls, and sitting around a table saying, "Is anyone there?" But we fast forward to that moment where you think to yourself, "Actually, there's something in this. I don't
mm,
know what it is, but there's something in it because I feel better." And joking aside, anyone approaching this that may be feeling the same, if
mm,
you're looking at a perspective, a mindset, a way of dealing with life that is different to the norm, but
mm.
it's having a positive effect upon you, then surely that has to be, something that people should, pay serious attention to.
Yes, definitely. I think understanding our discomfort is one side of it, but being able to comprehend how to allow that energy to shift and change
Mhm.
so that thoughts change is a really vital part. And for me, it was establishing that very loving spiritual connection, and it enhanced trust. And as trust starts to develop,
Yeah.
It's easier to let things go. But what about yourself? What is it that brings you to my side?
Destiny, the universe, written in the stars, all of the
Mhm.
above. Um, well, I mean, just talking about our own kind of
Yeah,
introduction, it is, as I spoke in a previous podcast, um, when I got this email saying an appointment had been booked by a doctor, I was at panic stations. There had been a big red button that I would have pressed for like red alert. I would have been slamming that one down and shouting orders at people. But
oh, Andy.
you kind of you're kind of thinking, hang on, what am I going to add to this doctor, and how is this guy that's in the world of the woo woo gonna um, fit into this
Yeah.
person I perceived wrongly, of course,
Mm.
wrongly as someone that is going to be very like dismissive, maybe, of what I do and what are they,
Okay.
what they want in, what can I do? What's going to be enough evidence? All those sorts of crazy questions, completely unwarranted,
Yeah.
expected but unwarranted because I didn't know you
Mm.
at all, and the sense is one of energy to energy, person to person. I think actually I really like this person. I could
Mm.
get on with her
Mm.
because it was just like a mutually relaxing connection
Yeah.
to be made. And then I can't remember exactly how it transpired from there, but I think we got talking about the work that I do as a trance medium. And I don't think it was too long after that you suggested, I come over to your neck of the woods, and I did a
Yeah.
trance demonstration for, a number of people that you know.
Yeah.
Um, and they seemed very open to it, and
Mm.
all people of very different backgrounds. But the the realization as we come to have regular, normal conversations is that actually there are lots of perspectives and lots of understanding within your knowledge that can help me move forward. All
Yeah.
right. That can help me understand myself. Because if you don't understand yourself, how do we realistically understand someone else?
Yes.
So it has allowed me to be a better version of myself. And that sounds quite, twee to say that, or I'm a better version of myself. But there is a great deal of truth. And so, if, for example, like even this week, there was, one day where sort of the day was going not necessarily the best. And there was just that sense that
Mm.
if I could have had a magic Harry Potter wand, I would
Yeah.
have whisked myself to the spirit world and said, right, let's just do something more exciting, something different. All right. And that is the mindset, it's just like maybe
Mm.
feeling a bit grumpy or just not at one with the world. All right.
Yes.
But then I can share that experience and that feeling with you, even though we're friends, we're kind of best friends.
Mm.
Even though I can share that with you, you can then give me that sense that actually, and it is all right to feel like that.
Yeah.
And then you don't feel a sense of guilt for feeling like it. You
Mm.
feel a sense of actually, we're all like that. We all
Yeah.
have moments where we just think, you know, let's just do something different.
Yeah.
So I think having someone that has all of that background, that can bring perspective, that's the word I'm looking for, that you can
Okay.
bring
Mm.
perspective as a professional to how I feel and how maybe clients may feel that come to me, then I am
Yeah.
in a better place to work with them. I have
Yeah.
a better understanding. Then I can give something that has more clarity, more meaning, and ultimately help them move forward or move on or understand or accept. And so I know that I would have had a great deal of hesitance to to approach anyone that had the word psycho anything, because there is a connotation of you're going to see how broken I am,
Okay.
or what will they think about the fact that this bothers me when it probably doesn't bother many other people. All right, so there is that sense of you do make yourself open or vulnerable,
Yeah.
but I actually think in hindsight that's a real positive,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it helps you to realize often we catastrophize about what we think the issue is, or what we think someone will think when we tell them the truth.
Yes.
And actually, the reality is usually much less worse than that.
Um,
Um,
so
yeah.
just picking up on that point,
Okay.
what do you feel happened for you as you began to actually talk about and express how you felt about certain things? What
Well,
changed?
I think it's, for example, we had I remember one of the the times that we met. I might have been relaying why um, in life I noticed repetitive behavior patterns
Okay.
if a certain situation materialized,
Yes.
and I would notice that it wasn't a helpful reaction that I
Yeah.
had. And I would say to you, Liz, it really annoys me that whenever this happens, it's like my default mode is to react in this way, and it happens every time. All right. But you had the wisdom and the academic understanding to say, well, let's kind of look into that. And then, you would ask me, certain questions, or ask me to explore where
Mm.
I felt that energy and that feeling within me, and to talk about maybe its origin, and to break it down in a way that I understood what was happening.
Mm.
And but then there was this sense of, you would say something like, bring a sense of like gentleness and
Mm.
compassion and love to that situation back when, let's say, I was 5 years old, for
Yeah.
example. Bring a sense of love to that. And as you're sitting there with your eyes closed and you're feeling this experience in the moment, I went from feeling a sense of maybe fear, let's say it was fear, to a sense of like being an observer, and then suddenly
Mm.
feeling this tremendous sense of compassion and actually happiness. So it was
Mm.
like there was a transition from a moment of stillness where I couldn't move forward to a moment of kind of letting go and thinking, do you know what? That 5-year-old was just 5 years old. All
Mm.
right. That's not a 5-year-old in an adult's body now. That can now be an adult having adult feelings in
Yeah.
their body, where you start to think to yourself, I don't have to be defined by my past. I can choose to bring the past up, not to create chaos, but to create healing, and
Mm.
to create a moment of transformation
Mm.
and a moment of change. And I think all of us are seeking to change, to transform, to become something more than.
Yeah.
And this is why there's such a strong understanding that the way that I work as a
Mm.
medium, as a intuitive, the way that you work, and also the crossover between your ability as a sensitive, as an intuitive, I think it fills in many of the missing gaps, that I'm not just here to be a medium and saying let's connect to loved ones. You're here to be different things to different people,
Yeah.
but to see how there's a lot of interconnection between the
Mm.
two.
Mm. And I think, just to round up what you said, through
Mm.
your experience, what I'm hearing is you became the observer of your experience rather than reliving it at every moment.
Yeah, there's the
Mm.
difference, isn't it? How
Yeah.
much of our life is reliving that
Mm.
comment, that experience, that feeling, that emotion from childhood. Often
Mm.
childhood is a very impressionable time. And that is when lots of the stuff that we carry into adulthood, that's
mm,
when it arrives at our doorstep, isn't it? When
yeah,
someone says the wrong thing, or they treat
mm,
you the wrong way, or they
yeah,
do something that in some way will permanently, at the time, scar
mm,
you.
yeah.
What we're doing is we're not about ripping off the plaster, but we are
No.
saying, here are emotional, spiritual, energetic techniques that can actually soothe that pain,
Mm,
that can eventually get to the stage whereby we may say,
mm,
actually, I feel like I've let go of that pain and that it's
yeah.
healed.
And it doesn't mean revisiting
No.
the difficulty.
Yeah.
It's, I think, really important to say we both work in a way that allows a gentleness to create that long lasting change rather than a revisiting of difficulty.
This is it. And, the thing is, we're very different, in some
Mm.
ways, but we're very similar. There's still,
Yeah.
beyond the psychologist and the medium, there's still just two people that might laugh or joke or just have a shared interest in something that we feel passionate about. And that's what this
Mm.
work is.
Yeah.
We have stuff that we've learned, that for you
Mm.
is your profession and for me is kind of like a vocation that's just grown as time has gone on. But I'm not sitting here and thinking I feel judged because this lady is a psychologist, and she's going to
No.
be wagging a finger or looking down her nose at me. I absolutely know that you delve deeply into this aspect of work. But then you've opened up so many doors to me
Mm.
about understanding myself and helping me to help myself, but also to help other people and
Mm.
to have a more rounded, a more whole understanding of people. This is
Yeah.
kind of what it is, isn't it? We're in the business of understanding people, and we're trying to help you transform, whether that be in an emotional, spiritual, energetic way, or
Mm.
whatever. That's
Mm.
kind of what we're about, and I think we offer something really unique.
Yeah. And we work with people uniquely as well. It's not, this is work for one person. So
Yeah,
it's always approaching every workshop, every retreat, every
mm,
individual as an individual
yeah,
experience.
that's it. You know, we've said before, we're not interested in packaging you to be something neat and tidy and very uniform.
No.
We know that you're all unique.
Mm.
Our task is to say
Yeah.
to you, how can we help you heal? How can we help you become better? How can we help you learn this skill? How can we learn you become something greater than you
Yeah.
currently are? And sometimes that involves acknowledging the stuff that's held you back
Mm.
or highlighting all that can move you forward. And that's the intuitive nature of a
Mm.
medium and certainly yourself. So
Yeah.
it's a very powerful collaboration, and it will make a difference as it has, with clients
Mm.
we've already worked with. So,
Yeah.
I think there's a great deal to be learnt from working with two different perspectives that are intrinsically linked.
Yeah. I think it will just continue to grow as
Yeah.
we both explore it ourselves for ourselves as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, I'm convinced of it. I mean, I have no sense of doubt, no sense of hesitation whatsoever.
No.
When I think to myself, is this a good fit for
Mm.
me? It is absolutely 100% yes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hate it when
And
people say
me.
110% because I think you can't make it more than 100. But I know that what we're doing
Mm.
is 1,000%
Yeah.
the best thing to do.
Yeah. And me.
And yeah, it's very, very good. It's a very positive,
Mm.
very good time,
Mm.
very good time to be working. So, shall we leave it there?
Yeah. I think that's been a really good it gives an overall explanation of how and why we work together.
Absolutely. So, the theme is, why are a health
Mm.
psychologist, a pain psychologist,
Mm.
working with a spiritual medium. Watch the video and you'll find out. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you next time.
Bye.